There we go. Hello everybody, how y'all doing? I think this is gonna be the setup that I'm gonna work with right now. The camera I got going, I didn't want to have the camera this way, or else the image would be upside down. And if I were to have the tripod behind me, it's going to be kind of weird looking. I'm doing pretty good. I'm doing pretty good. So the reason why I'm doing Spider-Man characters, I had a poll on my Twitter, which I recommend you going to on my Twitter page, handles Joey.T.Cartoon.P. Same thing as my channel. Let's see. Basically, I had a poll, and I asked, which characters would you want me to draw on this stream? And it was between all the really cool animation trailers that we got to see this week. We all got to see Spider-Man, Wreck-It Ralph, we saw the Lego movie, and How to Train Your Dragon. And according to the poll, it seemed like most people were torn between Wreck-It Ralph and me drawing Spider-Man. Now, I think that's appropriate. I think it's appropriate because those were the really good trailers, and they've got a lot of possibilities for me to draw. Granted, if I were to do the Lego movie, it would be kind of weird for me to draw Lego minifigs, but that's not bad. That's kind of fun. Kind of see what I could do with a Lego drawing, you know what I mean? On top of the fact that it would be kind of cool for me to do How to Train Your Dragon characters. But I guess as far as the popularity goes and general consensus and whatnot, it seemed like more people is sorry, drawing a blank here. It seems like more people are interested in those two. So I figured the big winner was Spider-Man. Uh, Went ahead and I practiced a little bit, and I figured it always helps to just get a feel on how I'm drawing. And yes, I'm going to be drawing with a Sharpie. I'll also be drawing with a hard lead pencil. And I got a light so that it looks a little bit brighter and you can tell what I'm doing. And I may do a little bit of grayscale shading going on over here too. This is a Copic marker. And I'm not doing the sketchbook like I did the last time, only because running out of paper in that sketchbook, figured I would go ahead and draw on paper. While I do that, I'm gonna go ahead and set up my laptop here so that I could take a look at the comments while I'm not always staring up at the screen, my phone up on the screen up over there. It'd be kind of distracting. But yeah, as far as all these really cool trailers coming out, it seemed like there's a lot of good animation coming up in the next 6 months or so. So like, what do we got going on now? All this really cool animation stuff. It's amazing. It really is. Here's the thing. I figured out who I was gonna draw before doing this stream, so I'm not gonna be doing requests like I always do. But I will be answering questions when I can, while also talking about my process. So first off, we're gonna start with my favorite. I drew up. Now I didn't draw these up. These are just some reference images I found of my boy Spider-Man. This is a character that I have grown up with. You know, this is my boy. This is like one of my favorite characters of all time. And I started with kind of with the animated series, but really with the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movie. That made me a fan for good. Really big fan. I'm kind of surprised we only got 4 people right now. I guess people are still checking in. Give it some time. So the beauty of Spider-Man, so he's kind of a slender guy. And I've drawn Spider-Man ever since that first Spider-Man movie came out. And it's great because the first Spider-Man comics that I was reading at the time, I was really getting into this character was, it's always weird trying to figure out how I'm going to draw with this tripod over here. I put the tripod on my desk so that it can at least stay up. Though I'm wondering how I can get this to stay up while not tipping over, and it seems like it's not going to tip over, so that's going to be pretty good. That's going to be fun. But like I said, the Spider-Man that I kind of started off with in the comics and sort of got reference and inspiration for as far as like the art style goes was the Mark Bagley Ultimate Spider-Man, which is unique because with Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, you know, the Ultimate Spider-Man comics were a big influence to the development of Miles Morales, you know, and even just Spider-Man in general as far as a modern Spider-Man goes. Now I'm kind of cheating and I'm kind of already getting a feel for his body size. I think I'm just gonna have him stand because I feel like that's just the right way to do. I'll do the more dynamic stuff when I do the other characters. I just like doing a basic. There's nothing wrong with Spider-Man. He's just such a cool looking character in general. Maybe give him a longer neck and maybe have his head up to here. So I don't know if you guys can see it that well with the hard lead, but I use hard lead because it doesn't smear and it gets me at least an understanding of what I'm doing. So it's kind of hard to tell. I'm going to answer one question, what my favorite Spider-Man is, because we're at a point with Spider-Verse where there's so many different Spider-Man to choose from. Yeah, it's really hard for me to choose a favorite Spider-Man, but if we're going to talk about just the qualities I look for in Spider-Man, or at least a character that embodies Spider-Man, one, somebody who just wants to do the right thing, someone who tries to have the right intentions but struggles with how to do it. I feel like that's the embodiment of a Spider-Man type of character. Because, listen, as much as I like Batman, and I've said this many times before, where I think Spider-Man's a better hero than Batman, because to me, Batman shows that confidence and that determination, and most of the time it's a show, it's a fake, because he's you know, masking the insecurities of losing his parents and whatnot, and you know, that kind of becomes a little boring and kind of cliched. I mean, good character, you know, but I mean, I feel like with Spider-Man, he's just more genuine and more human, because the way he identifies and really struggles and can't figure out things that, for most people, for most heroes in comic book lore, be like, yeah, I know what to do. For Spider-Man, he like, really? Is that what I'm supposed to do, or is it supposed to be like that? Like, you don't understand how much Spider-Man struggles with the idea of losing people. And not even just like, you know, people that are close to him, like civilians. Like, he loses it when it comes to losing a civilian lives, or, you know, people that didn't really have a close connection to, but he takes it so personal, even when it's not even his fault. Like, there's that scene in Spider-Man 2 where even if without his powers, and he saves that girl in a burning building, you find out that it wasn't enough, and it really gets to him. It really eats to him. To me, that's a very Spider-Man moment, and that's why I really do like the Sam Raimi films. You know, it's funny because I feel so confident in drawing Spider-Man that I don't need to do like as much trying to figure out what the pose is. I kind of just already know what it is. Well, I also got this Ultimate Spider-Man pose helping me out a little bit. It's kind of funny. I got all these references images of him in battle pose because I figured I would draw that. But you know, you just kind of go with it. You go with the flow. You do what you can. You know, you give it a shot and you see what you go. And this is what we got so far. This is the Spider-Man pose we are going to go with. Made sure I gave him just the right amount of definition. And, you know, he doesn't have his, doesn't go beyond the page. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Let's see. Let's go ahead and start doing all those cool little details that make Spider-Man so unique. Now, does it bother you that that it's coming across as upside down or, you know, sideways? Because I'm looking to see if I can get a new tripod, which at this point may be a little bit harder because I'm not monetized at the moment, or at least my AdSense is going through funk since I'm not with the Machinima network anymore. So I may have to consider crowdsourcing, doing Patreon again. I may have to consider finding ways to make a hustle in order to afford new things for the show. That's why I'm probably going to be doing the commissions as well, as discussed in the last stream. But at this point, the tripod I got doesn't allow me to stretch out. But, you know, if you guys got ideas, let me know. And listen, I feel just as weird as you when it comes to e-begging, so don't get me wrong if you can't afford anything, you know. I know where you're coming from. There are plenty of people I support online where it's like, I wish I could do more, but I can't. I will strap for cash here. So, you can only do the best you can. Just keep watching my stuff. Maybe at some point more views will kick in and I can afford more stuff. But that's just kind of where I am right now with my YouTube stuff. See, the funny thing about Spider-Man is that he has... See, I don't like this Ultimate Spider-Man costume here because what's going on over here is that he's got the sleeves, the blue portions are covering the whole arm. And that kind of bothers me. Kind of bothers me a little. Kind of bothers me, and it means a lot for me to see that Cartoon Caleb, a great YouTube artist. Not YouTube artist, social media. I guess you could say social media artist. I mean, he does videos too. Is commenting, complimenting me. He's a really good artist, up and comer, and it means a lot to me to hear that. So thank you, Cartoon Caleb. Let's see. I just have a lot of fun drawing Spider-Man, so I'm kind of glad I'm drawing Spider-Man. Though I thought it would have been kind of fun to draw Wreck-It Ralph characters, especially with the release of that trailer. Like, dude, I would have been here drawing Disney princesses and cartoon characters and video game characters. I would probably have been a little too overwhelming for me. And I know I mentioned this before, I use reference images. And for years, there was this feeling I had, if I use reference images, I'm a cheater. But the thing is, you need reference. You're not going to remember everything from memory. And there's always been this conception of like, well, how much can you remember? It's like, it really depends on what your comfort zone is. Like, here's the thing. I've drawn Spider-Man for years, but I'm still going to use a reference image to get an idea because Spider-Man changes so much, and there's like new things coming with the character that I've never seen before, and just the exposure to new things helps me create better looking characters, you know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's what we're gonna do. That's what we're gonna do. Yep. So, speaking of monetization and whatnot, my drawing a blank here. I did my first episode recap yesterday of the Rugrats, and you're all probably wondering if you haven't seen it, where is it? Well, it ain't on YouTube. That's because that guy got banned in a whole bunch of countries except Canada. So there's probably going to be one guy watching it who enjoys hating Sony Pictures Animation watching that video, but no one else, unfortunately, because there was a big Viacom claim. And I had a feeling that was going to happen when I got dropped from the Machinima network, because to me, being with a network helps you protect you with copyright stuff. But like, here's the thing. I have no problem writing up disputes and whatnot. I have a problem when it affects my schedule, right? So that's why these streams are really coming in handy. So the thing is, where's the video? I didn't answer that question. The video is actually going to be on my Facebook page. All right, I'm going to use a different Sharpie for this one, which I should have on my desk. So I'm going to go grab it. So in case nobody knows what I'm talking about, and you are following the Facebook fan page, if someone can copy that link, gosh, I'm putting that responsibility on you guys. But if someone can find that link and post it there, or the last video that was posted on this channel, you'll be able to watch it there. I don't care if you're going to jump out of the stream just to watch it. You know, I feel like more people watching it would make a big impact for me. You know what I mean? Let's see. Let us see. Let me get that Sharpie. I had a better Sharpie to use. I don't know why this is the only one I got. Alright, there we go. So professional, guys. I'm such a professional. I know what I'm doing. I got this. I got this in a bag, man. So here's the thing. I did not watch the stream. I didn't have time to watch the stream. I got so much going on right now. But Animat did tell me about the stream, and from what I understand, a lot of things have really bothered him that, in regards to the animation community, that I was like, you know what? Go ahead and make that video. I can see why you're going to do that, because a lot of the things that he's upset about, I agree with. There is a lot of negativity going on YouTube, and even outside of YouTube, that for the most part, it's kind of underwhelming and kind of unfortunate it has to be like that. He kind of told me what was going to happen because I was on his Twitch stream yesterday. Very fun, very enjoyable. So he did tell me about it, and I was like, you know what? I think it's fine. Go ahead and make that video. Didn't get a chance to see it, so I'll probably watch it when he posts it on YouTube. Wish I would have had a chance to see it, but I've been so busy today with other stuff. I mean, it's Sunday. It's important for me because I got work the following day. And it's like, all right, how much of the weekend can I enjoy left while also doing the other things that I got to do before the week coming up is going to feel like a wreck. Just adulting problems that we all got to deal with, I'm sure. Speaking of which, how many adults do we got on the stream? Who's still in high school? Who's in college? Let me know the struggle. I think everybody's got their unique struggles going on. Teenagers getting ready for college. Teenagers doing SAT prep. College kids figuring out how to get into the real world and whatnot, graduating from college. Listen, I've been there, man. It is a struggle. And you're doing the right thing, any of you. Whatever you're doing in life. As long as you're doing something, you're on the right path, kiddos. Got a 17-year-old over here. Yeah, thank you. That's what he mentioned, but he also talked about how it's a result of the cartoon community, Ryan. So technically I'm not wrong, but I'm just saying you're wrong. But I'm not saying you're wrong, but I'm saying you're wrong. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, he talked about how and I brought up the death threats in the Cal Arts, which is probably why we didn't touch up on it during it, because it was kind of irritating. It was funny, because right out of the gate when we did that stream, someone was like, talk Star Wars Last Jedi controversy. And we're like, what? We're cartoon dudes. Why would we be talking about that? But like, it's just, negativity is big. It sucks. It really, really does. Are you chopped liver? I'm a pork roll. I don't know what that means. What's going on, kiddo? Got an 18-year-old. I got a 16-year-old. Wow, got a lot of high school kids. You know what? Enjoy it, man. Enjoy it. Enjoy those teenage years. Or you know what? Being a teenager is so tough. You know what? Not enough people give you guys credit. You're doing so much right now. You guys got a big responsibility going on. And don't listen to mainstream haters telling you you're like the Gen Z. Would you be Gen Z? I don't know. But you're doing the right thing. Do what you can in life. And don't listen to the haters. I don't know what I'm talking about. There we go. Got a 31-year-old here. Sorry about that, Pat. Like I said, I can't get to everybody's question. Ooh, that is actually a pretty good question. The thing is, I'll be honest with you. I have a hard time figuring out if I'm going to do that episode. And the episode in question is a Family Guy Simpsons crossover. So what I'm doing right now is I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to be doing this. And I'm going to just do it with a thick line. Just going to make sure at some point I'm not going to keep it all the same line consistency. And it's funny because a lot of people hate Sharpie for this reason. Me personally, I've used Sharpie for so long. I've just used it like a brush pen. Even though it's not like a brush pen, it's definitely more concrete than a brush pen. But I've just gotten used to it. But yeah, I would love to talk about the Simpsons Family Guy crossover. If you guys want a teaser on what I would actually be talking about if I were to talk about that, the thing is, the chicken fight, the quote unquote chicken fight that happens at the end between Peter Griffin and Homer Simpson goes in so many different directions, and it's very clear that it's a Family Guy directed episode in the Simpsons world, where it's like, hey, we got references to the Simpsons, we're all about loving the Simpsons, but this is very clearly in the Family Guy world. And to me, that didn't work because it got too violent. Like, to me, it just got a little bit too violent, and seeing that fight between Homer got a little gut wrenching because I was like, that would hurt for Homer, you know what I mean? Like, even though the guy was able to survive the gorge and whatnot, the way that fight panned out, I was like, he's not the chicken in the chicken fight. He is Homer Simpson. He's supposed to be somewhat grounded in something, you know what I mean? Whereas Family Guy, I don't even know if they know what they're grounded in anymore. And that's kind of the problem I had with that chicken fight. It's kind of cool when they kind of got it right, but when they got it wrong, it really, really felt wrong. On top of the fact that the episode started off like it was just a regular Family Guy episode where they're talking about Peter making offensive cartoons, and it didn't really have any connection to what that has to do with Springfield, other than it's like, we need to leave town. Duh. It just, to me, it seemed a little forced. It's like they were better off just saying, hey, we're going to go on a vacation. We got lost. Where are we? We're in Springfield. That would have been just, I don't know, that would have been better. It would have been like how they segued into Star Wars specials. This is the progress I've made so far. Tell me what you think. You know what? That's the funny thing. That's the funny thing with that's the funny thing about someone. I thought someone said American Dad. Yes, that's the funny thing about American Dad, Caleb, is American Dad, of all the Seth MacFarlane shows, seems to get the least amount of hate. I think it has to do with consistency. It just seems to be a more consistent show. To me, I feel like Roger never really changes, but not in a bad way, like a forced sitcom kind of way, but in a way where you at least know what you're dealing with. Family Guy is hit or miss. I know a lot of people talk about the death of Family Guy, but every once in a while they have something that's pretty funny. And I think a lot of that has to do with Seth MacFarlane not wanting to really... He doesn't write the episodes, but he still, in my understanding, he still puts a hand in it. Very clearly tries to put a hand in it, you know what I mean? But I can't say it's the greatest thing ever, and I could totally understand why people have a hard time watching it, because there are some Family Guy episodes where they fail, they really, really fail, in a sense where it tries to do something that just doesn't make any sense. So I kind of messed up here. So I got one of the webs coming down here, but it should actually be coming down here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to see what I can do without doing that web, because the webs are always a unique thing to do. So I'm actually just going to finagle a little bit here and say one of the webs comes down over here, and just play that off as something. Say it's a design choice when really I just made a big mess up. Like, this is as basic Spider-Man as I get. Nothing really fancy, no fancy poses and whatnot. Just a very basic Spider-Man. And I've got no problem with basic. Spider-Man is just a very cool looking character, you know what I mean? You can't go wrong with Spidey. Someone's asking me, what would be the greatest Sony Pictures animated film? Well, I can't answer that question now because I kind of want to see Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. But if I had to settle on one, it's clearly, guys, it's clearly the Emoji Movie. No, just kidding. The best Sony Pictures animated film that I've seen, I think to me will always be. I have a soft. I have a hard. I don't know what I would call it. A spot for Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs. I think a lot of people give that movie a lot of hate. I know specifically somebody that gives that film a lot of hate, and I guess the more I talk to him, I guess I could see where he's coming from, even though I don't really agree with it. Is that that movie, when that movie came out, it was at the time when computer animation was like, we're gonna make things look realistic, and then Chris Miller and Phil Lord were like, no, we're gonna do our own thing, which is kind of weird because the book it's based on isn't really a cartoony book. But they had an idea, they had a goal, they set out on it, and in some ways it kind of changed the industry. I'll say, yeah, it changed the industry for the best, I think, because at the time there was always this conception that computer animation was going to look one way, the Pixar way or the DreamWorks way. But then Sony Pictures were like, no, we're going to do our own thing and try to make cartoons look stylized, sort of in the same vein as how like UPA had their own stylized thing in the 60s, right? And then people thought it was impossible. They said, no, it is not impossible unless you believe. People believed. I believed. I became a believer after that. And that's why I've always had a soft spot for Sony Pictures Animation, and I really owe it to Cloudy. Am I saying the movie is perfect? I don't know, actually. I actually think the movie was pretty well done. So this is what I got so far. You can really tell I messed up on these webs, but it's the best I got. Now I'm even wondering if I should even finish coloring it or just leave it very basic. You let me know. Someone is asking me so much about Gwenpool, and here's the thing. I haven't caught up with many of the comics at the time. I know who Gwenpool is. It's literally what it sounds like. It's Gwen Stacy and Deadpool. But the thing is, I haven't really read that story or really read stories involving her. I can imagine it being very interesting. I just, there's so much comics to catch up with nowadays. Damn, I literally picked up Sega Volume 1, and I still haven't finished that. I just don't get the time to. But from what I understand, Sega, and from what I'm reading, is pretty good. Anybody here reading Sega? Let me know if you're reading the comic Sega. Not Sega, the S-A-G-A, Sega. And there we have it. We have a outline of good old friendly neighborhood Spider-Boy. There he is. Let's go ahead and start coloring. Thank you very much, Stuart. Let's go ahead and start erasing. I repeat myself a lot. I apologize. I'm kind of weird like that. I'm a weirdo. What can I say? I'm not perfect. No one is. What is perfection, guys? What is it? If there's perfection, you tell me. Alright. What do we got going on here? Any questions that I miss out on? Let me know. Okay, that's an easy one because it counts when I talk about the Smurfs movies. Even Lost Village was kind of weak. Not as bad as, say, Smurfs 1 and 2 with Neil Patrick Harris. But for some reason, Smurfs just doesn't work. I wonder what would happen if they allowed Smurfs to be used by Warner Brothers with the other Hanna-Barbera properties. And yeah, before you comment, I know it's Peyo and not Smurfs as in, the Hanna-Barbera cartoon. It's different, but you can tell that the cartoon, I guess I'm kind of shooting myself in the foot here. It wouldn't really make sense for them to be in a Hanna-Barbera world. They really are in their own little thing, so. You know what, Clint? There's probably a reason why it's closer looking to the Spider-Man of that comic. It's probably because I'm a huge fan of that movie, and anybody that knows me can tell you that, to me that is one of my favorite Spider-Man movies. You know what? I'm gonna try to find a way to shade, and I'm actually gonna use this guy over here for reference for my shading because it's simple, it gets the point across, and that helps me out a little bit. So first, let me go ahead and actually start to finish coloring this. See, that's the thing about Sharpie. You got to figure out ways to be creative with Sharpie. Because Sharpie can be your best friend or it can be your enemy. You do what you can with Sharpie. Yeah, that's looking pretty sexy. I'm not gonna lie. I'm being kind of proud of my artwork here. I'm a proud papa. You gotta understand. I'm a proud papa here. I like how this is coming out. I'm gonna say weird things while I draw. I think it's just because I think out loud. I can't help myself. It's amazing. I'm still stuck on drawing Spider-Man, and I gotta draw how many other characters during the stream? I wanted to draw Miles. I wanted to draw Gwen Stacy, Spider-Man. I also wanted to draw one of my personal favorite Spider-Man, alternate universe Spider-Man. I'm not gonna say which one. I'm gonna let that be a big reveal. I want you to guess which one that is. And then, I mentioned this on Twitter, I'm gonna draw Tsum Spider-Man because why not? Tsum Spider-Man is actually crucial to Spider-Man lore, contrary to what you may think. Why? I'll tell you. Actually, I got no reason for it, but Tsum Spider-Man is crucial to Spider-Man, apparently. You know what? At this point, I'm pretty sure there is a J. Jonah Spider-Man. I want to say that, the death of J. Jonah's wife promotes him to fight crime as Spider-Man. It would probably be modeled after J.K. Simmons because of especially that bit in Spider-Man 2. If anybody's seen that deleted scene where J.K. Simmons is dressed up as Spider-Man. Oh, this is gonna be bad. I'm gonna do all this Sharpie coloring. Ugh, it's gonna take me forever. P.S. There is no way I'm gonna be coloring all the black on Miles Morales' costumes because he has a very dark black. He has like a black leotard costume. I am not going to do that because I do not have enough Sharpie juice in order to do that. Let's see. Someone got it, but I'm not going to say who it is. But someone figured it out. Let's see. Suggestions for what? You let me know, Ryan. Unless you're talking to someone in the stream. You know what? These streams are going to be based on viewer votes, and I'm probably going to do it through Twitter because I think they have a better way of polling. So if you want me to draw something specific, go ahead and ask me, follow me on Twitter. Handle is Joey.T.Cartoon.P. Every Sunday before the stream, I will put out a poll asking people what it is you want me to do, and I'll do my best to get to it because I was actually pretty surprised. The poll had a good turn up. I'm kind of glad with how many people did that. Oh, that's easy, Baby King. That's my boy Otto Octavius. Peter Parker, brilliant but lazy. Dr. Kirk Connors talked about you. Said you were brilliant. He also said you were lazy. God, I love that movie. I love Spider-Man. It's funny because the best Spider-Man movie is no contest Spider-Man 2. However, I would say on a personal level, Spider-Man 1 really gets a lot done to get that whole series moving. And there we have it. I don't think I'm going to bother doing any Copic shading with this one. I think I'm pretty proud of what I got. But here we got good old friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. Would I like to see J.K. Simmons? You know what? I feel like that's a Marvel versus Sony thing. I have a feeling like creatively they don't have time to have Peter work at the Daily Bugle as a teenager, and they want to focus on Peter Parker as a teenager, which I completely respect, by the way, because you know a lot of the great Spider-Man stories happened when he was a teenager, specifically the '60s. And but you know what, to a certain degree, it doesn't mean they're gonna just not go into different territories. I mean, if you look at the Ultimate Comics, the idea was that you had Spider-Man, doing things that from the 60s, 70s, and 80s, all while he's still in high school, rather than having him grow in this 627 storyline or 667. Someone correct me in the comments section. So here's the thing. I specifically figured out who I was going to draw because this is based on me seeing the trailer to Amazing Spider-Man, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. And the concept of all the drawings is that I want to talk about the Spider-Verse because that's what the focus of that movie is going to be. Now, in the Marvel storyline, and it's always been talked about in Marvel storyline, is the idea of multiple dimensions, which I think became really big when the Ultimate Universe came out, because they were like, listen, we got all these different one-shot comics, how are we going to tie everything up? Well, we make them all multiverses, and that's why we have Ultimate Spider-Man, aka Miles Morales. We got Spider-Man 667, please correct me if I'm wrong. And we also have other versions of Spider-Man all throughout the multiverse. If I described the Spider-Verse comics, I would be here for days. But the basic concept is that the Spider-Man are all tied together, infinitely more than any other characters in these multiverses, right? And then you got these guys, they're a bunch of vampires, and they're like, we feed off of spiders. There's a Master Weaver, who's also a Peter Parker Spider-Man, who brings everybody together. And every once in a while, there's a conflict or a crisis among Infinite Earths, different storyline. Also got my Spider-Man shirt on. And let's see. It all comes down to our boy in the 667 universe. And there we go. So let's go ahead and draw Miles. And the thing about drawing Miles is that I really love this current design they have for him in the trailer with the hoodie. It seems like he's not going to be wearing it all the time. So which pose am I going to go with? I think I'm going to go with the classic jumping pose. And it's funny because I'm going to do straight ahead with this. Spider-Man has always got the greatest poses, and it really comes down to his creation. Steve Ditko is a master when it comes to poses, and it's very clear that his influence always stays relevant to Spider-Man. Any variation you got with Spider-Man always owes a lot to Steve Ditko, because he really knew how to make Spider-Man really feel dynamic and fly and make him feel just amazing. One thing that always sticks to me when I read the Civil War comic was when Reed Richards, he fights Spider-Man in the Civil War battle, and basically Spider-Man is flipping through like all these different characters, right? He's acting like a total B, and Reed Richards is like amazing. And then Peter Parker is like, yeah, damn straight I am. Because, he's kind of a funky one. Of course, Cartoon Caleb, you don't understand. Todd McFarlane is a big, big deal, man. What he did for Marvel pretty much broke him, if you think about it. Because at the time, illustrators weren't really getting as much credit as the writers of those comics. What Todd McFarlane did at the time was really give a spotlight to the illustrators and say, like, listen, we can do our own thing too. So Todd McFarlane, and it really shows when he did Spider-Man. Now, because he wasn't getting as much credit as he deserved, that's why he went ahead and formed Image Comics, which is also a really big platform for independent comics, especially now. Like, really, really big. Exactly. Exactly. Thank you, Dark Knight fan. 616. I knew I was wrong. I needed to be corrected because it was bugging me. There's so many damn universes. Duh. All right, what do we got going on here? So I got the pose. This is the pose we're going to go with for Miles. I kind of made the mistake of having this portrait style when I should have had it, you know, landscape style. But I don't care. We're going to see what I got to do. Exactly, Cartoon Caleb. Captain Christian is a very good YouTuber. I love his content. And, you know, for a while, I was kind of like a lot of people. I was kind of like in the Link Harmon mindset where the early Image Comics were trying to be cool and radical. But, I mean, it was very revolutionary what they were trying to do, you know. And I really appreciate them for them as independent creators and whatnot. You know what? It's gonna, as much as I want to give him the hood, it's gonna look so weird because I already got his head over here. Unless I have the hood fly off a little bit, maybe like here, over here. It's gonna. We'll figure out how this is gonna turn out. So I kind of have an idea of how he's gonna be around. This is where his chest is gonna be. And this is the part where you really got to figure out how the anatomy is gonna work without being distracting. Well, thank you for telling me that, Clint. I had no idea that Todd McFarlane did a Shrek video game. Didn't Todd McFarlane also do a music video for Korn? That's my Korn impression. That's how I do my Korn. Sing along with me, everybody. Chicka chicka dong ka chong ka chong. Or chicka chicka chong ka chong ka chong. Yeah. That's my Korn. Don't be hating. Chicka chicka down. But yeah, Todd McFarlane, I think he did a music video for Korn as well. You know what? I'm just gonna say it. Comic book feet are funny, man. Drawing comic book feet is so much fun. I think back to Deadpool. You know, and when he made fun of Rob Liefeld's art style and even acknowledged like what kind of comic creator can't even draw feet. But there's such a uniqueness to that froggy funkiness going on over there, right? There's something so fun about it. And at the same time, I want to give him the kicks because those kicks are dope. And can't believe I just said that. I totally appropriated that word dope. But for better lack of terms, those are really cool cool shoes, man. It kind of helps, this image helps me and figure out how I'm going to do that without seeming weird. Yeah, we're going to just do it like that. That's what we're going to draw Spidey's kicks. Let me know what you think in draft form. Remember, that's the beauty of pencil. Singing the corn. Rock-a-ticka-chonga-chonga-chong. See, that's the thing, Luke. So before I go ahead and spoil Infinity War like our friend Luke did, has everybody caught up on it? Can I talk about Infinity War? Sorry to put you on the spot there, Luke. But you did spoil the movie, technically. So, let's see. So it's okay to talk about it? Loved it. Why Infinity War? I know the spoilers. Why it's okay. You know what? Let's talk Infinity War. It seems like everybody's caught up on that stuff. So listen. Infinity War, Spider-Man disappears with half of the universe, right? And that sucks because to me, Spider-Man is the coolest comic book character of all time. But it's very clear, according to Marvel, and this is the way I looked at it, right? At the time Marvel was planning Infinity War, this was back when the first Avengers came out. It was very clear they were planning this movie out when that movie was being made. And the more I think about it, it makes sense that the only surviving characters would be the original Avengers. Therefore, because let's be real, did we know that Spider-Man Oh, okay. Dang it. See, that's why I didn't want to talk about it. See, that's why I wanted to have the discussion about spoilers because not everybody has seen the movie. But I was, you know what? I thought I had the time to talk about it. So listen, long story short, we still got Spider-Man in Spider-Man. I didn't say exactly what happened to Spider-Man. All I'm saying is if you want your Spider-Man kicks, we got Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. And I'm only talking about it because Luke A spoiled it. And I guess everybody else kind of did too. So I think we all, you know what, guys? In a round of applause, we need to owe Stewart an apology, right? Let's owe Stewart an apology because this was all on us. We all kind of spoiled the hell out of Infinity War. So Stewart, you're getting an apology on the behalf of everybody, including myself. Bebe King Critic, people are gonna hate you. You know what? I respect somebody to have the intentions of never wanting to apologize, but you're gonna piss off a lot of people. You're also gonna piss off Stewart. That's why it's always right to do the right thing. Always right to do. Listen, guys? What would Spider-Man do? You see? Look at that. Stewart's feeling happy now. See what we did? We cheered up Stewart. We cheered up Stewart. There you go, baby. I knew we came around. We made the guy who said he wouldn't apologize to actually apologize. Look at that. Power apology, man. It's a group mentality. We did it. We did it. We're awesome. I can't believe. How long have I been doing this for? Let's see. So I've been doing this for about an hour, and I still haven't gotten to the 3 other Spider-Man drawings. So I wonder how long the stream's going to be for. Let's see how long we can get this going, guys. Bebe King Critic. What is up with this dude? What is up with this guy? But you know what? We cheered up Stewart. We did the right thing. That's all that matters. Stewart, you the man. You the man, Stewart. And no, not Kristen Stewart. Thank you, Caleb. Let's be real. Anybody that says I'm being sarcastic or doing the I'm sorry, nah on the internet, it don't work. I gotta use emojis for everything to really convey a message because it just don't work. Even regardless of social skills and whatnot, because I'd say my social skills kind of suck. And I'm a mental health professional. My social skills suck. But like, here's the thing, man. It's always right. Do the right thing. It always is. Reason will prevail. Reference that show, guys. Which show am I referencing? So here's what I find cool about Spider-Man Miles Morales' new logo. It kind of looks like a bullseye, and it's really unique. It's a Spider-Man logo that's true to Spider-Man, but it really does its own thing. It's got a little bit of a bullseye look. There's a circle around it, and then it's got, you know, this sort of graffiti paint look to it. It just works. It really, really, really works. Daniel, I have no thoughts on this solo thing. I said that in the last stream, and I'll say it again. I legitimately have no thoughts on anything solo, because for the life of me, why did that movie end up being the way it did? You know, in general, I guess you could say that's my impressions of it. Is no impression. It's legit apathy. I legitimately have nothing towards Solo, and unfortunately for people who have been fans of that film, because apparently, you know, there are people that like that movie, so I can't hate on them. But like, I just have nothing. It's just nothing, man. I legitimately don't have any feelings to this movie at all, and I tried so hard, and I respect anybody that does. I just don't. Yeah, childish Landino. How you doing, REJ? It's good to see the regulars jump on board. It seems like we got some regulars on this stream, and it also seems like we got some new people. So welcome aboard the train. Give a round of applause for anybody that hasn't been here before. All right. The thing is, Burning One, I would have loved to read more about Spider-Man Noir, but I don't think I've read enough comics about him. But I kind of know the idea behind Spider-Man Noir. I don't even think he really showed up in the I don't did he show up in the Spider-Verse comic? Probably did, but it's weird because there was so much going on in that Spider-Verse comic. So I'm gonna keep Miles with the big eyes. To me, that really is a testament to the Ultimate Comics, where they kind of had that thing go that way. Isn't it great how the most viral trailer Sony Pictures has got was this film? I read that on a report, so that's kind of exciting. So you know what? People coming down on Sony, they're figuring stuff out. I mean, yeah, I know their company's got problems, they really do. But you know what? This is a great bounce back from that Emoji Movie. Ugh, real crud. Here's the thing about the John Lasseter controversy. Um, it's wrong. It's wrong what he did. It's very clear that there's been this sexual harassment that's been going on, and you know what? Stepping down is the right thing to do. At the same time, what he did was inexcusable. Maybe, I'm an optimist and I hope everybody there's great in everybody and that you're willing to change, but you know, you gotta do what you gotta do, man. Thank you very much. Listen, listen. I am a Spider-Man fan, and I can tell you for a fact that that Venom movie ain't no Spider-Man movie. Nothing really connecting to Spider-Man in that film. Therefore, I've kind of lost any interest and hope to it. And that's the thing. Like, I would still see the movie, but the more I'm thinking about it, it's not gonna feel like a Venom movie. Little things here and there, maybe. But to me, I'm one of those people where it feels weird to make a Venom movie without Spider-Man. And I know a lot of people in the comments are gonna be like, "Well, there have been plenty of great one-shot, Venom comics," but it's like, listen, listen, man to man, guys, man to man. The guy with the Venom shirt here. Let me be man to man with you. Listen. Here's the thing. Venom started off in a Spider-Man comic. Venom's idea and identity is that he hates Peter Parker. The Venom costume hates Peter Parker. They both hate Peter Parker. They create a character. And granted, he became kind of an anti-hero, and he really did his own things. But the basis of what that character's existence is, his own friggin' costume, is based on this mofo over here, right? Like, come on, man. Come on. Yeah. Okay, let's get this going. Let's get this going before it's Monday. So let's see. I guess what I'm gonna have to do is I'm gonna have to pretend the you know what? I'm just gonna say you're not gonna be able to see the whole suit unless you can. We could just kind of have let's see how it would look if I gave a little bit of the suit, a little bit of the hoodie popping out over there. Yeah, I think that might work. Just a little bit of reference to him wearing a hoodie. So, did anybody get their New York Comic Con tickets? Because I got mine. Now listen, I know the struggle. Getting those tickets are pretty hard. Pretty hard to come across. So I give any respect to anybody who's got their ticket. Let's see. I don't even know what I'm talking about anymore. Oh my gosh, the Con Bravo stuff. I wish there's only so many things I can do, man. Listen, I've heard about Con Bravo. I don't know who's going. Who's going to Con Bravo this year? Ryan. By the way, Ryan is like one of the admins to the Mr. Coat and Friends fan page on Facebook. So like, he would probably know more about the ins and outs of what's going on in Mr. Coates than even I get to do nowadays. Who do you know is going to Com Bravo? Clint's not going. Seems like we're still figuring that out. Listen, I've heard about the Sonic the Hedgehog movie. I heard that they're going to go for a straight up family plot where it's a cop who seeks a friend who happens to be a blue hedgehog. And I guess there's like some interdimensional stuff going on because what movie nowadays doesn't do that? Ugh. So, I don't know. May work, may not. Who knows? Who knows? If Sonic the Hedgehog is getting a movie, let's just look at it that way. Let's just give Sonic his round of applause before Mario kicks his butt in the box office, or if any of them are both gonna lose. Who knows? Before Marvel kicks any of their butts. that's really their own competition. Someone's telling me about that Netflix animated show with the red panda, and it's got like that very cute animation style. Still haven't seen it actually, so I can't answer your question on that. This is gonna look weird, but you know what? There are no mistakes, guys. You do the best you can. You do the best you can. You see what you got, and you go from there. Kind of glad I'm not coloring these, or else I would be here forever and ever and ever. So let's get back to the drawing, because I haven't really got a chance to talk about the drawing. So I went ahead and I realized that maybe this character was a little too small to have used the thick outline for the costumes. So what I'm going to do is not go too much on the detailing, and I'm just going to focus on outlining with the thick marker and do the rest with the thin marker I got over here. You know what? Let's focus on the art. Let's focus on the creative. I feel like Charlie Day in Always Sunny. Let's talk about the mail, guys. Let's talk about the mail. So I go in, I keep getting these letters from Pepe Sylvia, and I'm going nuts. Who is this Pepe Sylvia guy? So I go up to HR and Carol, and I go, Carol, except Carol's not even there. And that's when I realized it, Mac. What'd you realize? There is no Pepe Sylvia. There isn't no HR department. It's all fake. It's all conspiracy. Listen, Charlie, not only do all these people exist, they have been talking about their mail all day. They're gonna fire us. Well, that's the thing, Mac. We've already been fired. What? We've lost our jobs? Yep, we got the pink slips already. And I went ahead and I mailed them back. Mailed them all the way to Australia. Charlie, that's the only reason why we did this, is that so we can get health insurance. Oh, it's okay, Mac. Here. I don't know, that's the rest I got on that sketch. Here's the thing. I don't know if Butch Hartman even knows that I exist, so it wouldn't be any point with doing a crossover if he doesn't know that I exist. Just being real with you dudes. It ain't easy. You know, there's this conception where it's like, hey, if you're on YouTube, you could just team up with somebody. Well, it ain't that easy. Maybe at one point similar interests will collide, but at this point it's kind of like a Wolverine and Hulk movie. It ain't happening. Sadly, I would love to see a Hulk Wolverine movie. That would be awesome. And I know everybody else would want to see that too. Based on Deadpool 2, though, I'm gonna go into spoilers. That movie came out early. It came out later than Infinity War. So, gosh, no, if I'm gonna be talking about Deadpool 2. But yeah, doing a crossover with Butch Hartman would be pretty cool. But I don't even think he knows I exist. So, what's the point? It's kind of depressing. It ain't easy being a cartoon, Joey. You'd say you said that, dude. You said it. This is what I got so far. Kind of messed up a little bit, but you know what? You do what you can. I think I'm happy with the way it's turning out right now. I mean, I can't complain. It's gonna be hard to do the webs though, so I'm probably gonna hold off on giving them webs, and I'll probably just do like a shading thing. Oh, that's right, Ryan. He did. You know what? So guys, recently, actually not recently, I want to say maybe a couple of months ago, there was a challenge. Well, it wasn't really a challenge. He kind of shared everybody's fan art where you do like the channel chasers. The Fairly Odd Parents episodes, channel chasers. And he would say like, well, if we were to do channel chasers now, which cartoon characters would you want um, Timmy to interact with, or be in the style of that world? And I thought it would be really cool to do Adventure Time to see how those characters would look. And rather than just draw Timmy and Cosmo and Wanda in the Adventure Time style, I kind of thought about Pendleton Ward style, which was just more simplified. And even the concept of Adventure Time, because there's like a whole interdimensional thing going on, a whole Dungeons and Dragons thing, where it's like if you're magic, you're probably going to have a different shade of color. So I was like, well, instead of just drawing Cosmo and Wanda as Cosmo and Wanda with like skin tones of humans, why not just make them green and pink? Because that's kind of what they do when they transform into another type, anyways. So I kind of had Cosmo and Wanda as pink and green characters, and what's his name mentioned Butch Hartman caught on to that, and he actually liked the way they looked. It kind of made my day seeing that, and I shared it on Twitter. I had my cry. I had my personal moment. It was like, I exist, guys. I exist, and it made me feel good. I do miss the regular show, but it had a good run. I don't think there was really anything else they could have done. It was a good show. Really good show. Yeah, I don't know how I'm going to do webs on this guy. So, I'm probably going to have to rely... I'm going to have to figure something out with Miles. I'm going to have to get creative with Miles here. Maybe I will give him webs here. Let's just give him some webs on the top here, but not too much emphasis on the webs. I also got to make sure that I color in this. Also, can you hear me well? Because I mentioned this the last time, and I mentioned this, and I noticed this in the last stream, is that it can be kind of hard to hear me sometimes. So just let me know if I gotta speak up a little louder. Still looking into getting a microphone for the phone. But listen, I ain't made of gold, so I gotta do what I gotta do. Well, that's cool. Got some past Channel Awesome dudes going to Con Bravo. Toongrin may go. I know Toongrin's gone in the past. But, let's see. Kind of hard to tell who else is going to go to Con Bravo. I'm definitely not going to do the webs around Miles over here. This is what I got so far with Miles. Just keeping it very simple, guys. Nothing too complicated. Also, I'll definitely be open to the idea of commissions. So, I'll put out an ad for that at some point on, I guess, either Instagram or let's see. Or Twitter. There we go. I lost my train of thought. You do what you can. It's gonna be hard getting these kicks out, but I gotta draw these kicks because these kicks are amazing. And that's what I'm just gonna go with the spider kicks. Oh yeah, that's right. Finishing that guy over here. Alright, you know what, guys? If you are drawing... If you are drawing... There we go. There's Miles. If you're drawing too, that's cool. That's awesome. Share what you're doing. So for this one, I'm probably going to give him some Copic shading going on over here. Well, that's the thing, Daniel. Frozone's wife is an anti-hero. My old pal Mikey. Mikey's still my pal. Came to my birthday last year. I love that guy. Had a birthday party bash with him and Patrick Hazard. Hung out on my birthday. All my other friends. They probably posted videos on their channels about it. I know Mikey did. I don't know about Pat. Pat Hazard. Great guy. Really great guy. Well, here's the thing. Frozone's wife's an anti-hero because she's married to Frozone. She's got his super suit. She knows his weaknesses. She's his kryptonite, but she ain't got bad intentions. So I can't really say she's a villain. But then again, all villains don't see themselves as having bad intentions. Iannoni. I haven't heard. Yeah. I haven't seen him in a while. He's a cool dude. Made our greatest game ever played crossover. Now that's a video most of you probably haven't seen. Still on my channel. Made a review of the Disney film The Greatest Game Ever Played because A, I'm a golfer. Most people don't know that about me. But I love the golf. And Iannoni at the time was the only sports movie reviewer. Back in the day when we had like specific niches for reviewers. Nowadays, no one really cares. You just do it. So here's the thing. ISL, I haven't really caught up on her. She's like one of those up-and-coming YouTubers. But she did show up on one of Animat's streams. I think she's pretty cool. Here we go. That's a little bit better. So let's go ahead and start shading this character. First of all, anything that's red, I'm going to go ahead and then definitely need this for reference. Figure out the red parts. Well, I kind of made a mistake already by coloring the outline of the eyes black when I should have made that red. Well, see, where'd you go with it? Oh yeah. Yeah, Spider-Man's V at the bottom goes down there and crawls his way back up. You know what? I'm going to make this portion actually black. With comic book drawing, guys, you got to be very clever when it comes to what you're going to shade black or what you're going to color black, because with comic book drawings, it's a very specific way where the colors and the inks are different. Nowadays, it's not the same as it was in the day, but with comics, it's a very unique way of shading. So you always got to be very careful as to what it is you're going to be coloring in certain shades, because in the day you didn't have that versatility you had now before Photoshop. Now we're spoiled. We are spoiled children. The way we draw. It's because grayscale is a unique process. I think that's what I was really focusing on when you're coloring in grayscale. You want to figure out what it is you're going to color in black versus not. So I'm thinking right now, what else should I? You know what? When you're done, you're done. When you're done, you're done. This is what we're going to go with Miles Morales, which is kind of looking like regular Spider-Man. But then again, his costume is a little like regular Spider-Man. It's just that you really can't color it the way you would with regular Spidey. So let's go ahead and put Spider-Man and Miles together, hanging out, being two bros, just doing their own thing. It's funny, I don't really talk a lot about Miles Morales, and I think it's because as a character, I didn't really watch a lot of his stuff. So I guess this is now when I do the reveal as to the character that we were going to be drawing on the stream. So get ready for it, guys. Drum roll. The alternate version of Spider-Man that I'm going to be drawing will be Spider-Man 2099. Brownie points for whoever guessed that one. So let's go ahead and draw. I'm going to draw Tsum Spider-Man last. I just feel like that's how I'm going to end things. I'm going to draw Tsum Spider-Man last. Yep, there you go. See, I like drawing Spider-Man 2099. He is a very cool looking character. And that's the thing. Luke, I was going to draw Spider-Gwen next. It was interesting. Gwen Stacy as a character has come a very long way from what she originally has back in the day. And when I say back in the day, Gwen Stacy was known for one thing and one thing alone. And it ain't a spoiler because it happened. It's as common as Uncle Ben for real. Gwen Stacy dying. That's what any Spider-Man fan would ever tell you about this chick over here is that Gwen Stacy was just known for dying. And I think it's amazing to see where this character has gone now. And has come a long way since then. And I'm kind of glad. In a day and age where we're talking more about representation, it's cool that we're seeing more female characters, more black characters, more minorities, fighting along and getting their own titles as well. I think it's a big deal. Representation matters, guys. It really does. So I gotta say that about the LGBTQ. We don't see that many LGBTQ Marvel characters. Probably do. I know in the new Avengers line, the Kid Hulk is homosexual, so that's exciting. Needs to be more representation, guys. We're coming a long way. Let's see. Spider-Gwen is going to be unique. One, she's a girl, and two, she's a character I haven't drawn a lot. I'm just going to make some comments before I go ahead and draw her. Drawing women is different from drawing men. I've never had a personal problem going between man and woman because, if you're going to have to draw one, you're going to have to draw one eventually. But recently, I've always had a hard time because, for me, when I draw bosoms, and I'm not trying to be weird and pervy and whatnot, but when you draw bosoms, either they're too high or they're too low, and it really determines the age, and it's very specific. For men, I think it's just easier to figure out what a certain character is going to look like, but I think with women, it gets a little bit trickier. You don't know if they're going to be older looking or if they're going to be younger looking, and something like that actually does kind of matter. Oh, come on. It's not NSFW if I'm talking about anatomy. For example, you're all in high school, right? The youngest we got here in high school, you're probably taking AP Studio, right? Or an art class, and you're talking about human anatomy. It ain't inappropriate, guys. Trust me. Trust me. Trust me. Yeah. It's a problem, but you know what? You keep trying. And it may look awful. Like, for example, this Miles Morales, some things I'm kind of upset about, but you just gotta roll with the punches and try it, or else you wouldn't have known how to do it. Whenever I'm trying to figure out how to do like a dynamic cartoon pose, I think about motion. So, and I got that actually from reading How to Draw Comics the Marvel Way, where if you figure out the line of motion, you figure out how the character is going to move. And it really helps. It really does help. Like, now I know where the leg is going to go. Maybe I'm going to have the leg bend out a little bit like this. I think this is pretty cool where you see her with a smartphone. I also think it's really cool with Gwen Stacy's costume is that they've incorporated the green trench coat she wear, which, AKA guys, is the trench coat she died in. I know it was more like a pea coat than it was a trench coat, but same color too. But you know, the line of action really helps you figure out how you're going to draw this character. Maybe have her hand down like that. Maybe she's grabbing out like this. I always notice this cool hand thing where the hand's always like just flat out like that. Okay, we've got more LGBTQ characters. Thank you. I appreciate that. Starring role characters. It's cool to know that Captain Marvel is LGBT. So that's great. It's not a. It's not going to be a spoiler if the character was in the first Deadpool movie. So, oh, I mean, if you're talking about, well, the movie, I don't think it would be a spoiler though because she was LGBTQ in the comics. So, you know, you could always say that. Then again, there are other things. Ooh, is the stream pausing? Okay, I thought I made a mistake. I thought the stream was gonna pause for a bit. That's good. I've got this on my smartphone where I got 3Gs if there's gonna be any funky internet connections, so that shouldn't be a problem. My iPad, totally different. I mean, I would like to get a better system, a better setup where I can incorporate my probably have her do a web like this. Gotta have a character do the Spider-Man devil horns, right? Which, by the way, the devil horns comes from Italian folklore. When I say devil horns, I mean this. Common thing for Italians to do something called the moloccio. And Dio, the rock star Dio, noticed his grandma would go to the market and do that sign. And he would ask her what that means, and she would tell her it's to ward off the evil eye, because equidistant, you know, to the eye line. He incorporated that into his thing. Thank you, Stuart. I have a feeling Stuart over here is a heavy metal dude. Get the lead out, guys. Get the lead out to Led Zeppelin. Ooh, see, this is where it comes to female anatomy now. I'm making this muscle too big, and you don't want to make her too bulky because just even in general, even really bulkier women just don't have as much muscle mass as men, and that's not to be rude. It's just in the marm, you don't see like Hulk arms. Even if you look at She-Hulk, they make her as big as she can get, and even when she's been in like savage mode, it's never as big as Bruce Banner's Hulk. Wow. Holy moly. Adventures of Flapjack was released 10 years ago. I believe it. I mean, I was in high school 10 years ago. Ooh, that's crazy to think. I'm old. I guess we all get old. Believe it or not, I really thought back as I was being a reviewer, and I realized I did this reviewing stuff when I was younger than most guys getting into it. I was still in high school. No, I was still a teenager when I was making my YouTube channel. I want to say I really picked things up at 19. So, you know, there's hope for everybody out there. You're never too young. So I guess you could say I'm still learning, right? I just noticed that there were a lot of people when I would do this, when I would make videos, I was like one of the younger kids doing it. Which is why I didn't understand at the time why there was more positivity towards the older media, not the newer media that I knew of. So what I've noticed to help me out with figuring out, and I'm going to say it again, boob placement here, is that I just try to figure out like how it's going to look perspective-wise. Because sometimes you want to get it to show, and sometimes you don't even put that much focus in it anyways. Depends if their person, female, is sideways. I hear a lot of people talking about Squirrel Girl. Squirrel Girl is a fun character. I mean, just from what I've heard, never from what I've read. I think people are having that same sort of hatred towards Squirrel Girl because of what happened before Deadpool came out, and there were a lot of people that loved Deadpool. Before that movie came out, everybody loved Deadpool. Yeah, so that's what we're gonna go with the leg over there. At this point, I feel like I've drawn this Spider-Man bent leg for so long. I'm just so used to drawing that. And then I'm gonna have, let's see. Probably not gonna put that much focus there. Maybe I should have drawn the leg up here. Okay, well that's the point of doing it in pencil so that you don't mess that up. Let's see. We talking Shrek now? How do we get into a conversation about Shrek? How does the internet always find a way to bring everything back to Shrek memes? It's like Shrek has now become the official Kevin Bacon, where there's gonna be 6 degrees of Shrek when it's involved anything internet-wise when it comes to Shrek. Hey, I even reviewed Shrek, so you know, Shrek is power. It's more than love at this point. Shrek is power. Shrek is internet at this point. Let's just make Spider-Gwen. Maybe give her, and put focus on the hood too. Maybe have the hood like this. That's probably why I'm taking longer. I'm putting more focus in these drawings than I've done in the streams before, but that's because that's what you gotta do. Now, could you imagine if Wreck-It Ralph's premise, or at least the next Shrek sequel's premise, is that it goes to the internet? For no reason, anyways. You know, DreamWorks just really like, hey, let's have Shrek go to the internet for no reason. Now, that would be an interesting movie. I think it would acknowledge how much Shrek has become an internet meme. Gotta fix that. Maybe have the hand like this over here. This one's gonna look a little bit weird, but I think that's just because, let's see, if I'm gonna have the hand pointed out this way, am I gonna have her pinky facing her body, or am I gonna have the thumb facing outwards? I have a hard time with that, if you haven't noticed, so I'm gonna have to erase this hand to figure out how the hand is gonna be placed. Well, that's why I got this reference drawing over here. So in this case, her thumb is going to be placed outwards. So, that means it's probably going to look something more like this. Yeah, the hand's going to look a little funky. You know what? I'm just going to have Gwen wave. It's giving me too much agita. There we go. Just have her like just out waving out like that. Kind of makes sense. So that's a good question. If I'm going to put up a poll next week for what to draw, somebody brought up The Incredibles, which makes sense. I may actually have my Incredibles video posted online if YouTube doesn't flag it, like I said. Having been off the Machinima network, or just off the network, has been making me more vulnerable to copyright strikes. So if that video comes out next week, or if I don't post it on my Facebook page, like I did that, I would recommend doing an Incredibles speed draw, because that movie's coming out next week, correct me wrong? Or we just do Shrek characters, because we're all fascinated with Shrek, so I'll make that a choice too on the stream. We all fascinated with Shrek. I get it. that guy. You know what's cool about Gwen Stacy's costume is that it looks kind of like a little like Venom's costume. But then again, it also looks a little derivative of Miles Morales' costume too. It's interesting. You know what? I haven't known that much about Spider-Gwen's lore to really know how she came about. If she was a product of the Ultimate Universe storyline, or if she was a product of the 616 storyline. We'll see. So that's what I'm thinking. I'm probably going to be focusing on Incredibles 2 next week because I do love that film. It's one of my favorites. I'm going to have to look at this reference image a little bit closer just to figure something out. So it looks like Spider-Gwen has got something going on where I want to say the costume goes into a webs at the bottoms. Maybe like this. It's going to be totally wrong, but just to get the idea that there's webs showing on her costumes and it's not completely white. And underneath her hood too. There we go. That's better. And to fix out the hood a little bit. And that's what we're going to go with. Now, I have a feeling this is going to look a little weird. But we'll see. Did you know Tag is based on a true story? If you go on YouTube, you'll see the inspiration. There's a documentary about these guys, like very short documentary about a group of friends who have made it their goal. Question: how is the internet? How is the quality of this stream going? Because it's looking fuzzy on my end. Let's see if I can fix it. There we go. Yeah, make sure you switch over to 720. For some reason, my stream was showing up in a 144 resolution, so that was kind of weird. Try to change the reception, or maybe you may want to restart your router just to fix that out a little bit. So here's the thing with Spider-Gwen. I think I'm just going to keep the Sharpie outline going, but I'm not going to put too much focus on the Sharpie outline with this one. I'm just going to go ahead and go ahead and just wing it. And the beauty of Marvel is that at the end of the day, there was always this sort of like thickness with the lines. Extra thick. There was always this thickness with the lines, so having a thick outline isn't going to look weird. You'd just be like, oh, it's like Jack Kirby would have done it. In actuality, you're just trying to improvise a little bit. I think it's really cute that Gwen's got these heels that are reminiscent to the peacoat, to the iconic Death comic. Because listen, I'm not joking when I say this, but Gwen was known for one thing back in the day, and that was dying, and she really has come a long way. What else we got here? Also, make sure you share the stream in case you want anybody to check this out. If you think anybody else would be interested in checking the stream out, totally up to you. But I think it's worth giving it a share to any of your friends and families and whatnot. Hey, Mom, look at this guy. He's drawing Spider-Man. You like Spider-Man, right? Yeah, sure. Yeah, I like Spider-Man. Yeah, we'll just do like that. That works. I think that's the most I'm going to do with outlines. Now, I don't know if you've noticed this. With Spider-Gwen's eyes, they're not outlined, but there's a slight gradient. I want to say there's like a slight gradient that goes on. So rather than outline the eyes, I'm just gonna shade them out a little bit like this, just to sort of reflect that. That's a really cool effect. I don't know if that's some sort of Stark technology going on over here. It's a pretty cool effect for the costume. And Gwen's a smart gal. Maybe she figured something out. Alright, let's do this. You know, at the end of the day, Gwen Stacy does have a very simple costume, so guess it's not worth getting too aggravated over if I mess it up. Alright, talking about the feet. There's no talking to feet. Only do. There is no try. You just do. There we go. Alright. Getting a little silent on the stream here. Anybody got any questions? I actually, Stuart asks a question. He asks me if I still hate Teen Titans Go. The funny thing is, I talked about this on the stream yesterday with Animat. So, the thing about Teen Titans Go is at the time I was watching it, it was on all the time. When I say it was on all the time, I mean this stuff was on all the time. You would never find a time when it wasn't on TV, and it was kind of irritating because to me it felt like the same shtick over and over again. And I feel like I had enough to talk about during my video when I reviewed it. It's very clear, if anybody ever gets into talking about movies, always be conscious about the time you're making your video, because times change. It first started with the Let's Get Serious episode. Now, I was at the time when the Marvel movies were overshadowing the dark and gritty lore that comic book movies were going into. And this episode, Let's Get Serious, comes out. And one, it seemed a little mean-spirited when I saw it, because it kind of seemed like cartoons didn't need to be happy and stuff. They need to be serious in order to be taken serious, because that was what the original Teen Titans were like. But we're not like the original Teen Titans. To me, it just seemed a little off. So when I talked about it, I mentioned that. And at the time, I feel like, you know, comic book movies that don't necessarily are gritty do go into dark territory that Chris Nolan does deserve a round of applause for really going there. But I don't know, at the time when I was watching Let's Get Serious, I think the way they handled it was a little off. And like I said, the show is on all the time, so it was like really hard to avoid, and I just had a lot of stuff to talk about with it. And I was just like, listen, gloves are coming off, guys. I'm gonna go give this stuff, you know, a piece of my mind. And then it hit me. I wasn't the only one that felt like that. And then I realized there were other people that were more passionately angry with Teen Titans Go than I was, to the point where I was just like, I'm not that mad, right? I mean, I'm not that angry. But like, there are some people like seriously hate that show. And I felt like I got lumped in with that, to a point where it's like, you're not giving this a chance. I was like, I did give it a chance. I gave it as much of a chance as I can. And at the time I was making that video, it was into its 4th season. So I guess the great question is whether or not I'm going to be talking about the... Nope, I did not make a mistake. I think I'm doing the best I can with Spider-Gwen's costume. Alright, so this is what I'm going to do with Spider-Gwen. This is what we got so far. I think one of the hands is too big, but I think that's what we got so far with Spider-Gwen. So that's a good question, Ryan. Has Teen Titans Go ever made me legitimately laugh? I don't think so. Even when I saw a decent episode, I don't think it's ever made me legitimately laugh. But that's the thing. I don't think that's a judgment. I think that's personal taste, whether something makes you personally laugh. It's like, this comedy isn't making me laugh, so I must hate this. And it's like, no, it just means that you didn't find it funny. It's like, I acknowledge that Borat is a very clever comedy in the way it incorporates pranking and trolling in order to get to the cause of something that's actually pretty serious within the country. But I don't find the movie hilarious. Like, everyone's like, oh my god, this scene where he's wrestling the fat guy naked, it's so funny. And it's like, no, it's childish. But I understand why that movie is popular and why that movie works. You know? It's just like that. I don't think you should use a laugh meter as a legit criticism. I think you can use that as a personal criticism and something you personally find about it and just sort of acknowledge that. Hmm. Go ahead. I don't think I really listen to a lot of podcasts. The only podcast I actually listen to the most since I was in high school has always been anything Corey Coleman does. Corey Coleman from doubletoasted.com. I don't think I ever really listened to a lot of podcasts, and I think it's because you have to be very good at it, and Corey Coleman is just a pro. He just knows what he's doing, right? Doubletoasted.com. There you go. Sonic memes or Shrek memes? Why do I gotta choose? I think they're both horrendous. There is no choice, dude. They're both pretty bad. Alright. This is what we're gonna go with Spider-Gwen. I'm still gonna shade. I've never streamed this long. This would be interesting to see how long I go with this stream. So how would you guys feel if I put these on my Twitter and I sold these? How would you guys feel if I sold these to you? Or at least sent you a copy in the mail? If you would be interested in purchasing it, send me a message or let me know. I'll let you know my prices, but it really depends. So let's actually ask around. So here's what I would consider to be a decent price for these sketches. I would sell these for no more than $5 each. I wouldn't sell these for $10. I'd say if I added color to these, I would sell them for $10. One, I think it's because of the size, and I also think it's because of just level of detail. They're grayscale, so I would charge $5. If I kept it to pencil sketches, and if I kept it to one medium, like one specific thing, I would just charge $2.50 or $2. Probably also tack on. You know what? I wouldn't tack on shipping with this one because it's a letter. You know, you just want to make sure they're sturdy. So you let me know. Does $5 each? Does that sound like a good setup? $10 for 2 drawings? Yep, basically. And that's what it would be. $10 for 2 drawings. And unfortunately, I wouldn't frame it. But if you want me to frame it, I'll charge you the price of the frame I get, which I usually go to the dollar store for just a nice frame to get it in something. You know what I mean? But then again, it's like, why would I get the frame if that's something that you would want to do? You know what I mean? It's like, at that point, it really depends. I just think putting in a frame is gonna be useful. You know what I mean? I just think that's just gonna be a better idea. That's gonna be fun. Look at you, Gwen. Look at you. You looking good, Gwen. Damn, Gwen, look at you. You go, Gwen. All right. You're looking good, Gwen. I'm actually getting kind of excited when I'm shading Gwen. Look at Gwen, guys. There she is. The gorgeous Gwen. Gwen Stacy. Yeah. There she is. Put her up here. You go with the rest. That's 3 down, 2 to go. Look at that. Can't believe I'm doing this. I got all these Spider-Man drawings. I got all these AJ Spider-Man. I know for a fact that I'm finishing off with Tsum Spider-Man. Like, I feel like that's a great way to finish this stream. So we're gonna go with the equally badass Spider-Man 2099. Miguel O'Hara undergoes genetic testing, gains the powers of the mythological Spider-Man from a previous time, fights crime, but he does it his own way. He doesn't go by the book. I guess that's just how I always felt about the 2099 comics. Like, if we're talking dark and gritty, damn, they were dark and gritty comics. Like, Hulk 2099 was like a legit monster. Like, he is a monster, but he was like very monstrous. You know what? I'm just thinking 2099 Spider-Man is fed up with poses. I think he's just going to he's above posing right now. He's fed up with it. He's had it up to here with posing. He can't even, man. Spider-Man 29, he don't have time. He's too angry. He don't have time for that. He's just, I'm here. I'm doing my thing. I'm taking my picture, and then I'm gonna kill somebody or something, or I'm gonna, beat somebody in a storm drain or something. Because I'm Spider-Man 29 now. I'm dark. I'm dark and gritty. Maybe have his arms crossed. That's always a hard pose to do. Yeah, their arms up to here. At the end of the day, you know what? I'm gonna forget crossing because you're not gonna be able to see the best part of his costume, and that's that's his skull. I mean, that's what really makes his costume really awesome. Is that skull? That Punisher look, and the way it falls, the way it looks, it's just it's an amazing looking costume. Now listen, if they do Spider-Man 2099 in Into the Spider-Verse, that would be pretty cool. I mean, just to see where they go with that, you know what I mean? But then that's a personal thing. I wouldn't really hold that against the movie. It seems like they've got a lot going on as it is, and they probably will make like a sight gag to him, but never really like. I don't know why I've kind of got him like posed out like that. Maybe I should have him bend down a little bit more like this. Kind of giving him huge legs for some reason. Kind of giving him Marvel Capcom Thanos legs. So maybe I should give him more muscle. Bulk him out a little bit. He always, to me, was always more bulkier than Spidey 616. See, once I remember something, I gotta always say it so I don't forget it. Spider-Man 616, Spider-Man 616, Spider-Man 616. Give him his Batman Venom thingamajiggies. Speaking of Venom, did anybody else watch Death Battle? How stupid was it to pair up Venom and Bane? That to me was the dumbest thing they could have ever done. Because those characters are not even close in weight class. That's like putting a lightweight with a heavyweight. It wouldn't make any sense. So that's what we're going with. with Venom, with Spidey 2099. I don't know. I guess I'm not. I'm kind of confused as to like how to make his pose. That's why I'm having the hardest time with him. So that's why I'm just sort of figuring out what to do. But at this point, it's going to be really easy because A, there are no webs, and B, um, it's really just it's just in the shading at that point. But I got to make sure I get the what's the word I'm looking for? I get these designs the right way. It's kind of like with Celtic crosses. You want to make sure you just figure it out. Yeah, for a fact, I know I'm not going to maybe have an eye over here so it doesn't seem too distracting. There we go. There we go. Skull and crossbones. Yeah. Oh yeah. Spidey 29, kicking ass, taking names. He is the Spider-Man that's had it up to here. He's not tolerating, you know, regular Spider-Man shenanigans. I feel like in this world he'd be like Cable and Deadpool. Like, no, I'm not playing it. I'm tired. I'm tired and I'm through with it. I'm done. I'm angry. I'm an angry Spider-Man. Yeah. That's the best I got with this design. You know what? In hindsight, maybe it would have been a good idea for me to practice how to draw his skull and crossbones because it's really, really intricate. You know, you don't see a lot of merchandise with Spider-Man 2099's costume. You don't see a Funko Pop of Spider-Man 2099. I wonder why. He needs to have more dark and gritty Spider-Man 2099s. There you go, give him little pinchers because he's got little claws. Alrighty. Animation analysis. I know you show up to all these streams. It's really good to see you, dude. I really appreciate it. Really, really do. What are my expectations for Hotel Transylvania 3? To be a movie, to be enjoyable. I mean, it's a Hotel Transylvania movie, so it's going to be enjoyable. I kind of knocked some shade to it, though, during the podcast. I did with Animat, and I think a lot of it has to do with, you know, I feel like it's kind of boring. Like as far as where they're going on vacation, it's like, all right. I feel like when you lose track of where you're gonna go with your story, that's what you're gonna do. Is like, we're just gonna take him on vacation. So this is what I did with the designs on his shirt and his eyes. So I had to be very specific about how to do this. Really, I'm not worried about outlining at this point. The hardest part is going to be how I shade this mother. That's going to be the hard part. You know what? There may as well be a Spider Rick and Morty. And at that point, I'm hoping the Rick and Morty phrase is going to die down. And I think it already is when Rick released a birthday present for Kanye West. Which is real. Yeah, we're just going to go with that. Let's get kind of a big bulkiness going on over there. You know what the funny thing is? I feel like I get my my inspiration for shading and outlining from a very odd place too. In the 90s, and I didn't really read these comics in the 90s, but I know they were big in the 90s. There was a series of comics by the Hernandez brothers called Love and Rockets. And they had a very thick outline to their characters, almost like they did it in Sharpie. So I'm pretty sure they did it with Black India ink pen brushes. And it's like the way they did it, it worked, you know. And I feel like something about that is always stuck to me. It's like if I don't do well with the anatomy and whatnot, at least I could figure something out with with the outlines. Maybe make this one a little bit, pop out a little bit more over there. I did see the Bumblebee trailer, and I have to admit I'm kind of excited, mostly because Travis Knight is directing it. He is the CEO of Leica Animation and the director of Kubo and the Two Strings. And it's very clear he has a very heavy involvement with the making of those movies. So for the most part, I did see the trailer. I was excited, and it seems like they're gonna try to go back to formula on this. I really feel like what they're gonna do with this movie is sort of make it like the what they did for X-Men, kind of give it a soft reboot, just do their own thing because I think they've incorporated time travel in these movies, right? I stopped watching after the third one. But it seems like they may be doing something along the lines of a soft reboot. I knew I messed up something. Yep, I knew I did. Well, I'm just gonna have to play it off. It's supposed to have lines coming down here, but I forgot them. I was kind of thinking about the way they did it in I think one of the video games I haven't played, but I remember seeing the promo art years ago for it. Here we go. Make sure you give it more edginess because he's an edgy character. I'm edgy. I'm cool because I'm edgy. Yeah. Every once in a while, I gotta double check, see what everybody's talking about. I think it's always fun to see what everybody thinks. And I really appreciate you taking the time to watch my stream and give your thoughts, think about stuff, just talk about life, talk about the world, talk about geeky stuff. Although it's going to be tougher for me, and I mean, I feel like a broken record at this point, but it's really true. It's going to be really tough to get Cartoon Palooza reviews at the point that I've had it with these copyright strikes. So that's what's going to be tough. I mean, hopefully I'm not going to deal with a lot of agita on that level, so I'm just going to always keep you posted on what's going on. So here's the outline. And we go to the hard part. We're going to go to shading with Spider-Man 2099 because while it looks okay, let's be real, this is a very defined costume. So here's the thing, Stuart. I know you mentioned this earlier. The thing is, I don't think I'm going to be able to do the Raven drawing during this stream because I think I wanted to focus, and I think, holy moly, holy smokes, we've gone up. We are over the 100-minute mark, guys. Look at that. We are on the 100-minute mark on this stream. I think we're going to be going to 2 hours with this baby. And I feel like I've already dedicated all this time to drawing Spider-Man characters, and it only makes sense. And the thing is, too, I got things to do by the end of the night. I got to get ready for the workday. So we're probably just going to keep the Spider-Man drawings. Yeah. Man, we did it. So, Daniel, you ask about Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, or as I would like to call the Lost World Jurassic World. Because to me, it really seems like that movie is a little too reminiscent to Lost World. Parks shut down, evacuating the dinosaurs, they interact with the humans, and I'm sure there's going to be something different going on in there. But me personally, yeah, not crazy about it. Did I like Jumanji, Welcome to the Jungle? You know what? It's pretty good. I enjoyed it. I liked it. It's a good movie. I don't say a great movie, but it was entertainable. It's funny because if you've watched Hereditary, ooh, actor who played the doppelganger for The Rock, he was in that film. You know, it's unfortunate. I would probably still charge these at $5. But if I did this on Bristol paper, I would probably do it for 10 because I'm saying that when using the Copic markers, it would show up better on a thicker paper, but this gets the job just right. I was thinking about getting a bigger sketch pad, but the first things first is maybe looking into getting a new tripod for this. And we're gonna go from there. So this is the fun part, guys. Let's get to that shading. Yeah, you know what? Get Out was amazing. I'm really glad that movie came out and did as well as it did. It was really good. And I voted for Obama 3 times. I would have voted for Obama for a 3rd term. For a while, that was a big meme. It's like, yeah, you know what? I think that's nice. I would have voted for Obama for a 3rd term. And at this point, I would. What is going on, America? Make America great. More like make America back to normal again. What is going on? Now you know I'm I'm reaching for stuff to talk about. I'm talking about politics. Oh God, God help us. What other crazy shenanigans is our president getting us into? If you're American, if you're a Republican, I respect that, you know. But at this point, I don't. I don't know what we're gonna do anymore. It's getting pretty tough. Well, thank you much. Thank you very much, guys. This one, I'm gonna be on the fence about whether or not I would charge this for $5. I'm gonna say $7.50 because this one's gonna incorporate more shading. The shading is gonna be all over the place too. But the beauty of Copic is that it allows you to go over lines. And at the end of the day too, I'm trying to just incorporate making the suit look shiny. You know what? We can always hope for the best. I said that, I think, like a broken record, but you know what? Last year was pretty tough. There were a lot of celebrity losses. We got Get Out, though, so that was a plus. Academy Award-winning movie to Jordan Peele. Jordan Peele, Academy Award-winning director. I can't believe it. I'm so proud. And to think everybody thought, you know, his work was going to be like the directorial debut Keanu. Unless it wasn't his directorial debut. Was Keanu Jordan Peele's directorial debut? Who knows? You know, of all the trailers that came out last week, the one that I'm really excited for is waiting till Godzilla Monster Island's trailer pops. That is what I would be very excited for. Who's Cellpix? Clint, who is Cellpix? I don't know who that is. Yeah, I'll sign these later. Probably sign these afterwards. Alright, and there we have it. Spider-Man 2099. Ooh, look at him go. Look how sexy he looks. Shiny. Shiny as Tamatoa. So you know what? Here we are, guys. We're at the home stretch. We've got 4 Now we've got the greatest one coming up now. Tsum Spider-Man. Who's been waiting for this bad boy? So, thank you for the correction. I had a feeling he didn't direct it. You did the writing though, right? Home stretch. Now we've come to Pork Roll Spider-Man, or as I like to call, Tsum Spider-Man. Let's see. Oh, so the funny thing about that poster, so when I was doing my my internship at one of my workplaces, I had a poster, but I didn't want to get just a Star Wars poster, generic Star Wars poster. I figured since I was probably going to be working with a lot of young girls, just young, young clientele, I may be working with men and girls. I feel like having Rey as a poster, really testifies what was good about having a female protagonist in Star Wars. You know? I don't draw pizza, I eat pizza. That's a silly question. Never. So let's go. Let's go ahead and draw Tsum Spider-Man. And like always, gonna need my reference. Gonna need it. So, Eric, not to deviate you from the stream, but if you'd like to know what my favorite Spider-Man cartoon is, I recommend you check out my video where I talk about Spider-Man cartoons. And there you have it. The Tsum design. Good night, everybody. No, I'm just kidding. Listen, it's probably going to be the easiest thing to do at this point. To figure that out. And to answer the question on my favorite non-Marvel related thing, that's funny. When looking at these designs, I think it's amazing how they've incorporated such a simplicity to it. It's a lot like Funkos, where it's like they know exactly what to simplify. Not saying they know everything to simplify. There's certain things that I think even Funko hasn't really figured out. But let's bring the eyes down here. Give him a Spider-Man. Gotta make it more like the Tick in the earlier comics. Not the character of the Tick, but like in earlier comics, it was more or less just like a Tick. Whew. Do you like YouTube from 2005 more than 2018 YouTube? It's all about context. YouTube at the time, in 2005, was non-existent for me. I wasn't really on the internet. I wasn't really on YouTube until 2007. So I wouldn't be able to answer that question for you. As far as whether or not I think one's better than another, I think everything has had their share of issues. And I know it's upsetting. It was very upsetting for me not to have that strike that kept the regarding Stewie video from going online. But you just can't give up. I think I tried to find a solution. The best solution I had at the time was to put it on Facebook. I like their video player better. It's not monetized, but at this point, I don't think I'm making enough to be monetized either way without the until I figure out how to reorganize AdSense to my to just me without network. But it was a solution. It's a temporary solution I have. Still working on getting it on the YouTube platform. So when it's out, I'll let you know too. See, that's the thing too. Like, there are things I understand that get copyright strikes. If you're gonna post a whole movie without any sort of context to it, and just post a movie, that doesn't fall under fair use. But the thing is I heavily edit the video, and if I'm ever showing a clip, it's for a specific purpose to illustrate a point, right? And I think it's very clear. I think in this one I was just trying to do something new. It hasn't really changed from my normal style, so all I'm saying is, do I think the copyright system is broke? Yes, but I understand why it exists. I understand why it's there. And nobody wants to be caught in a bad lawsuit because someone is posting a whole movie, posting a whole copy of Infinity War on YouTube. Which, by the way, I remember the days, if we're talking about old YouTube, it was very easy to watch Superbad for free on YouTube. I'm a bad influence. So I haven't seen Early Man yet, but I want to. So let's give a little bit more detail to Tsum Spider-Man. I appreciate that, Stuart. I appreciate you watching, and I appreciate your kind words. That's why I think at the end of the day, if reviews are becoming harder to do, at least I have drawing. At least I got that gift. At least I have that. So I would like to make more drawing challenge videos. I always wanted to explore that. I think that would be fun. And it would be better to do because I wouldn't have to deal with any copyright crap. I would just be drawing. You know, you can't do a copyright claim on a drawing. I mean, I may use a clip or just a reference footage, but I rarely ever get flagged for that, so... Now I'm having fun with this. It's very Ditko-esque. Just doing that costume. You mean, I've said Ditko so many times, but you gotta understand, that guy, as nutty as he is, was a really big influence to the creation of Old Webhead. That and Stan Lee. But as far as like making Spider-Man as cool as he looks, we really tip the hat to Steve Ditko. And John Romita. Definitely John Romita. But I feel like John Romita he knew what Ditko was doing, and he was like, you know what? I'm not stepping on those heels. I'm just going to continue what Ditko was doing, and maybe a few improvements here and there. I just think Ditko drew Peter Parker amazing, whereas with drawing a blank here. With John Romita, John Romita did amazing Peter Parker drawings, and Ditko just did great Spider-Man drawings. It was Spider-Man who had more black to his costume. That was Ditko's choice, whereas Romita decided to make it blue. Whereas it was always blue, but the idea was that it was supposed to be black with blue highlights, because back in the day, blue was sort of the way that to show that something was black. Kind of like if you watch Gargoyles, Lisa Mazda has black hair, but she has blue highlights. But she doesn't have blue hair, she has black hair with blue highlights, in the same sort of vein as something with black. And it's funny because the Joker was supposed to have a black costume with purple highlights to indicate that his suit was actually black, but not purple. But it just made more sense to make him purple. I mean, he is a clown, so it is more theatrical, more appealing to the eye. There we go. There's Tsum Spider-Man. Let's go ahead and erase. Let's go ahead and erase this bad boy. So, Eric, I've never taken art classes outside of high school. I think after that I've just kind of been on my own. picking up things as I go. I recently picked up a book on perspective because I do feel like that's something that I'm always trying to improve on. I just find you take influence from everything. You just try to do something new. You just try to do something creative. You just try new stuff. I think once I do more drawing videos, I would like to get a new tripod when I do that, at least so that you get a better angle overhead versus the angle you see it at now. I really don't want to finish this. I really don't want to leave here. In the words of Peter Parker, I don't want to go. That's kind of dark. Oops. But if you haven't seen the movie, it wouldn't make any sense either way if I said that. Not really a spoiler if I don't give it any context. So, not really a spoiler. You know what? I would watch Avengers 3 when it's on theaters again. I want to see it in theaters again. I was going to watch it yesterday, but I decided to watch Hereditary. My friends were going to go watch Hereditary, and I don't regret that. Interesting film. I just don't understand a couple things that happened in it. It's made by the same director of Strange Thing About the Johnsons, which is a very NSF. If we're talking NSFW, man, that's something. You know what? Since we're on the subject of shading, and I've already shaded most of these, I'm gonna go back and finish shading. Had to go finish shading the first one. Actually, go back to OG Spider-Man. But in the meantime, let's get a close-up. My thoughts on Shrek is Love, Shrek is Life. It's disturbing. Next question. There's Tsum Spider-Man. I think I messed up on the last leg. I think it's supposed to be up here, not down here. But this is sort of indicating that he's in flight, I guess. And this is his whole bottom portion. Maybe it would make more sense if I shaded this whole part. But I think I think I did okay. It's just my opinion, though. The thing is I wouldn't be able to use my movie pass for Infinity War again. They won't let you watch the same movie twice. And I agree with them. They're just cracking down on it. At first, that was always the policy, and that's why I always figured was the policy, but I've never noticed it as much. Might need a new Copic soon. It's interesting. I was worried about how this was going to look on computer paper, but the Copic is actually working pretty well on the computer paper. See, Copic markers are so expensive, I wish I could get a whole collection of Copic markers, but then they dry out, and then you'd have to get more Copic markers. So I just settle with one color, and that's gray. And I figured, I'll just color it on Photoshop. I'll color it on Procreate. I'll color it on my tablet. There, that's me shading Spider-Man 616. That's me shading Spider-Man 616 over here. I figured I'd go ahead and reshade him. Going back, should I go back and reshade Miles? Yeah, a couple things I'll fix up. Maybe go back and give that one more shade. There we go. See, that's the beauty with Copics. You get the layer on top, sort of like with painting. Let me give a slight distinction over here. Not gonna finish up Spider-Gwen. I think I pretty much got the job done with Spider-Gwen. Probably gonna fix up a couple things here with old dark and gritty over here. See, that's the thing. You don't notice the layering as much with a thinner paper than you would with a like Bristol paper. Now I'm just talking about different types of paper to get. And I don't want to spend too much time coloring over the same thing or the page is going to tear. So there you have it. 5 Spider-Man drawings. Let's see if we can get them all in frame before I head over for the night. There's Tsum Spider-Man. There's Spider-Gwen. There's old dark and gritty over here. Yeah, you can't really see Gwen. Gwen! And I'm gonna get over here. I guess that's the best I got as far as reorganizing all these characters. Oh, you can't even see 2099 over here, so let's just put them up over there. There you go. Let's see. And there you have it. Probably gonna feel confident with selling each of these for $5. So if you want to message me on Twitter, or if you want to message me here, or if you want to tell me you want to purchase one now, speak now, forever hold your peace. So let me know what you think. $5 each if you want to sell, if you want to purchase. You can do it here. You can let me know on Twitter. Just let me know, and I'll probably put up a banner for commissions. In the meantime, I think I'm probably gonna wrap things up. We did our first huge stream, 2-hour stream. This was something. This was a lot of fun. I hope you all have a great evening. This was fun. I'll probably put up another banner, another ad on my Twitter. But let's keep it going. This was a lot of fun. Have a great evening, guys. Take care.